In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to include figures and how to format them. So the first thing we need to do if we want to use figures is to include a package. Last time I left you, we had the sections, and all I've added now is I've used a package, which means give me access to a toolbox. Use package lipsum. Now lipsum is just a toolbox that allows you to generate nonsense Latin text. So in each section, I've just said \lipsum 100 words. So I've just added 100 words randomly from Latin text into those sections. If I want to include figures, the first thing I want to do is to use package. So this allows you to draw from the graphics. It's important to choose the one with the X and not the S, because it gives you a bit more flexibility. Use package graphics toolbox. If you have access to this toolbox, we can now include figures into the text. So to include a figure here, I would go begin, that's a keyword, \begin, and then the thing that I want to begin with is a figure. You can see, I'm just going to do that again, figure. As I type it, Overleaf says, is this what you mean? Do you want to begin a figure? So I just press enter here, and that fills up the rest of the control if you want. So it says begin with a figure. This is the description of the figure, and this is the end of my figure description. That \centering means center the figure in the middle of the page. Include graphics specifies which file to include, which I've not uploaded yet. I still have to do that. So in here we're going to type the file name, and then we have a caption, which is descriptive, right? A figure of something. You can type in anything there. And then we have a label, and the label is the thing by which we will refer to this figure. I'll show you how to use that in a second. But first, we have to upload a figure onto LaTeX. Now, in LaTeX, I usually just make a separate figs or figures or images or something folder so that my main folder doesn't get cluttered. And inside figs, I can now upload that figure. So I'm just going to upload one that I've just downloaded from the university. There we go. So now you can see inside figs, there's a file called Stellenbosch Uni header, whatever. If I want to include that file, I just start typing here, figs, and you can see it's already popping up with the options. I press enter, and now the file should be included. So let's just see what happens if I press compile. Apparently nothing, but I can see there's a warning there. If I go, it says, ooh, float too large for the page by blah, blah, blah. Let's go and look down here. Oh, there we go. It's there. It's just too big. So what you have to do is just size it. You do that by using square brackets before this file name that we specified. And inside the square brackets, you just type width is equal to, and then we can use a nice thing, another controlled, says text width. So the \text width gets the width of your text, and you can multiply that by a factor. So I usually use 0.6, 0.9, 0.3, whatever you want to use. So if I now compile, then the figure becomes much smaller, as you can see, and it's put here. Now, this is something that unnerves many word users. The figure is floating. It's not exactly where I specified it. You can see I've got section context, then the figure, and then section contribution. But in fact, the figure's at the bottom. Now, what I love about LaTeX is it puts the figures where they look good. You can, however, force it to go to exactly where you want to put it. So you can say, with square brackets here, lowercase h, and if you do that, it says force the image into that position that I told you to put it. So then it puts it in there. But what I usually do is just allow it to float, and then if you have to move it to a previous page or a next page, you just move the figure up and down by moving this whole section of text here. Let me just quickly show you how easy the referencing is. So I want to now say, in figure, I show that whatever. Now, in order to reference that figure, all you have to do is you say ref, that's the control ref, and in curly braces, you just copy this name that you give it. So this you could have called anything. You could have called it Tannie Karen if you want. Tannie Karina. There we go. You could have called this anything. I just use fig colon because it makes it easier to distinguish between tables and figures, which I'll show you later, and sections. So in this one here, fig Tannie Karina is my reference, and I go and paste that into that reference. And when I now press compile, you should see a sentence here that says, where is it? in figure that I show that. There we go. I show that, and so you can go on. So what is lovely about this also is you can include PDFs, which means you can use vector data. I'll share a link to how to generate those, which means you can zoom in as much as you want and it doesn't become pixelated. And then the other thing is you can obviously also make subfigures and like an A, B, C, etc. But that's kind of beyond the scope of this lecture. So hopefully that is useful to you.